Hi everyone, my name is Brian Roberts, and I am going to talk about some strategies to employ when trying to figure out a quicker way to transition to chords. So this is kind of aimed for more for a beginner to novice area or an intermediate player that's struggling with chord changes. I just had a student ask me today, how do I address moving my fingers and getting my fingers to move together at the same time? And this is a common moment for a lot of guitar players, right? They'll find that, when they play a chord, that each finger's kind of landing one at a time, and or clumps at a time rather than everything all at once, right? And that's the goal, is to try and get each finger to land at the same time. So I told him quite simply, well, make it a priority to land each finger at the same time, which can be extremely awkward. And this is something that you wouldn't want to do while playing a song at this point. This is just totally without any rhythmic pressure, without anything. Take any chord that you're struggling on. He was particularly talking about D and C for this example, as well as G. So I'm going to pick on those chords today. So I told him, well, try your very best to get each finger to land at the same time, right? And I know I make it look easy. You got a lot of practice doing it. I also mentioned that just try to get your fingers to land down at the same time in something that looks vaguely like the chord. So even if it lands something like this, which is, if you know any better, isn't actually a D, the main thing is that he's developing the stimulus to allow himself to get the fingers to land at the same time, even if it's not completely accurate, right? So, try that a few times, go slow, and try your very best to get each finger to land down at the correct spots at the same time. But if landing at the correct spots is not possible, landing vaguely, at the correct spot is what we're looking to do. Okay. It's the same thing with G. I'm going to try my best to get everything to land at the same time. Right, you don't need to hit it hard like what I'm doing, but... And again, if that's not working, as long as it's all fingers kind of looking something like a G, that's what we're trying to develop a habit of allowing our fingers to land at the same time. Okay? C was especially hard, and he kind of wasn't landing in the right spot or anything, but just try your very best to get each finger to land at the same time. Boom, even if it's not in the right location. So, all right, we talked about that, and we found that his accuracy was maybe 50% of the time he was getting the fingers in the right spot. So then I said, another thing you can do is hold the chord and then just gently, just ever so gently, lift and squeeze. So I'm never really, let me try, would this direction be better? Yeah, I guess, oh no! Okay, video's back, I was worried about that. Okay, so, yeah, I guess I gotta do it like this. I have the chord held right here, and then I gently, just ever so gently, lift my fingers, but I'm still touching the strings, and then I squeeze, up, squeeze, up, squeeze. Again, it's very subtle, up, squeeze, just so that I get used to the shape of the fingers and allowing my fingers to land at the same time. So lightly touching. If I were to strum right now, only the open strings would ring out, and then when I squeeze, everything would ring out. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. I'm just lightly, I'm releasing pressure and then squeezing. Soft squeeze, soft squeeze. And you can do this with all your chords. Get it into place, squeeze, soft squeeze, squeeze, soft squeeze, squeeze. And then there was one more suggestion I gave him, is to kind of pull up a very slow drum beat, or you can put a metronome on, but I think a drum beat is a little bit more inviting rather than a metronome. So I've been really liking these lo-fi 60 beat per minute drum beats, and you can kind of pick two chords that you are working on. So your pulse is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So let's say I was sorry, it's a little. Yeah, so let's say that's our pulse, and I was working on G and D. 3, 4. All I'm trying to do is land on the chord on 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now, I'm prioritizing getting to the chord first. Rather than holding the chord long, I'm just trying to get to the next chord early. And the reason why we want to play it in time is that that's more likely to make you faster, to be honest. Okay? Now if this becomes easy, try doing 2 strums. And again, I'm prioritizing getting to the next chord instead of holding the chord. So what do I mean by holding the chord? Holding the chord is like this. I'm holding it, and at the very last minute I switch the chord. That's kind of what everybody instinctually does. But when you're trying to master switching chords quickly, prioritize in this instance getting to the next chord as early as possible. And I'll explain why in just a little bit. So let's say you're able to do 2 strums. You know, and you get to the next chord and you have ample time. Once that happens, it's time to do 3 strums. And then once 3 strums become easy, right? So I'm getting to the next chord with ample time, right? Now I do 4 strums. And let's say 4 strums become easy. Right? So I'm getting to the next chord much earlier than I need to. So that's an indicator that I'm ready for a more intense rhythm. So at this point, what I'm going to do is actually bump it up to 8 strums. I'm going to switch to 8th notes. As soon as that last rhythm, I try to shoot over to the chord. So you can either count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3. Or you can count just 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switch 1, 2, 8 switch. Now let's say that gets easy. Well, you can do triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet. And so that window of time to switch the chord gets smaller and smaller as you put more rhythmic pressure on it. So counterintuitively, it actually behooves you to prioritize the delivery of the chord versus the saturation of the chord. So this is more important. Playing the chord right on time is more important than holding the chord as long as you can and then being late for the next chord because you're concentrating too much on holding the chord. So something to think about. Thank you, Dave, for suggesting this video. I hope you guys find good usage out of it.